information regarding this particular course, you can actually reach out to us. Yeah, you can scan this particular QR code. You can also uh, talk to us if you have any questions. Yeah, and in terms of the general information, here it is. If you have any queries, yeah, with respect to this, yeah, again, the numbers are displayed again. So the first 5 sessions, that is this full week, will be free to attend. Yeah, anyone is welcome to, yeah, see if it is fitting for them, see if they realize the value of React to get a job, or even to switch job from one profile to other profile, or to change the career. And post the demo, so we will have sessions for only registered people, and we get the recordings as well as notes in the Graphy, which is our LMS platform. All right. Yeah. So, uh, quick summary on what we have gone through yesterday. So we understood what is introduction. Yeah. So we got to know uh, like who's taking and how actually React is doing. Yeah. Comparatively with other libraries and framework, how it is much ahead in terms of the usage. This shows the usage trend, high level syllabus, as in like introduction. Yeah. And the whole React concept that we are be learning. Plus, we'll be building an e-commerce application, right? Yeah, we understood some of the core principles of React. What is a React ecosystem? What libraries are there around React? And it has a learning curve, the job market and opportunities, benefit of learning React when you have interest to develop web, mobile, and even a desktop applications. Yes, yeah, feature proofing. It exists from nearly 10 plus years, and then yeah, it is one of the leading, and it is from a big company that we are all familiar with. Yeah, I talked about, I think we saw this slide in the end. Uh, Today, I think I will get a chance to talk about the online version of it. Yeah, online version of the environment setup, where uh, we'll start using what is called as code sandbox, which is much easier in order to get started with, wherein we can actually practice, do a lot of React coding online. We'll also soon talk about what is called offline setup, which is also nothing but your local, in your local, how you can actually get started using, yeah, using like VS Code. Along with that, you need an environment like Node.js and NPM. Okay, in today's session, we will go through, yeah, uh, the refresher. Basically, prerequisite for this course was you need to know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Yeah, and specifically in JavaScript, we want to refresh skills on ES6. Yeah, so ES6 is very much required, and the syntax that we write, though it is React, is of a JavaScript, because at the end, React is a JavaScript library. You write your code in JavaScript, and that is happens to be ES6 version of the code and beyond. So the syntax which got upgraded in the year 2015 is referred as ECMAScript 6, which is a JavaScript version. JavaScript is also known Yeah, if you're familiar with another terminology called ECMA script. The official name for JavaScript is ECMAScript, but then it is actually called as, calling name is JavaScript. All right, now uh, we get into some of the features of ES6 so that React becomes more familiar to us. Yeah, React becomes more familiar to us when we are writing the code. Uh, yes, uh, Manoranjan, good morning. Yes, we can actually write TypeScript as well. We can write the code in TypeScript as well for React. Yeah. So part of this course, we will be mostly teaching JavaScript. But if you want help with like how to get started with TypeScript and all, yes, I can actually we take one session like how do we work with TypeScript project. Yeah, because most of them will like so just to make a beginner friendly. Yeah. Some of you might be knowing TypeScript or you might have a bit edge on like okay knowing what is it and TypeScript and all that, right? So, but the fundamental concept doesn't differ actually, whether you use JavaScript or TypeScript. Even if you use TypeScript within that, the syntax that you're going to write is actually ECMAScript. So, in simple, for people, what is TypeScript? It is actually a superset of JavaScript. So, superset means everything which is there in JavaScript can also be written in TypeScript. TypeScript is again a yeah language introduced by Microsoft. Yeah, instead of .js we write .ts. And as a beginner, like if you are not that familiar with TypeScript, then you will mostly end up writing all JavaScript code only. So you will not really get benefited out of, the full type system. All right. Yeah, that was a good question. Yeah, feel free to drop in the chat if you have any question with this. So let's get started. Uh, Let me switch the sharing. Yeah. So, okay. Hope you can see my screen. Yeah. So let me open what is called as codesandbox.io. And this is what I meant to say, an for online editor for React project. So now here, this is actually a free tool. Yeah. You can start, you can start any of the sandbox. So sandbox is nothing but a ready environment configuration which is available for you to work with. For example, I see React. You can create a React project. I can create a React project with TypeScript, yeah, or pure TypeScript without white, Remix, Angular, yeah. So these are the popular templates that they have. So let's say if I am looking only for React, then it gets me another, you know, 6 to 7 templates just for React. Yeah, you can even start with React Native also. Yeah. So to get started, I don't need React. I will go for pure JavaScript sandbox. Yeah, before we start with React, we would like to understand, okay, how a JavaScript code can be executed, and we'll be a bit familiar, yeah, with what is called JavaScript, right? Okay, this is a code sandbox, and in the right side you see the output. Yeah, so here we have the source code. Yes, so a complete SRC is written, index.html, index.mjs. Yeah, so Yeah, this is what is there in the setup. Now I'll just get rid of what is written over here. Yeah, we'll say hello. Right. So hello is displayed. Now, so we'll understand some of the the important topics that we have with respect to ECMAScript 6. Yeah. So the concept that we'll be studying are okay in terms of variables, yeah, and their scope, okay, and their scope. Next, we will learn what is called arrow functions or different. I mean, I'll cover mostly different types of writing, you know, uh, functions in JavaScript. Yeah. Then we'll understand what is called, destructuring. Yeah, yeah, destructuring, a rest and spread operator. Okay. So we have a new syntax in terms of the string, which is called template literal. Yeah. Then we have a new way of, you know, importing and exporting things, which is called modules. Yeah. So mostly we'll learn this. Okay. Yeah. So these are some of the concepts. ESX, it's actually, if I can talk about, I think I'll show you in a few minutes. It's a big feature set which was actually added in the year 2015. Okay. This is all the update which came in 2015 for JavaScript. Right. So I'm presenting my sandbox. Okay. All right. So yeah. Uh, let's start with variables and their scope. Yeah. So yeah. So this is a code sandbox. This is how it looks like. Yeah. So here you can type in the code and you'll be able to get the output. Since it is JavaScript alone, so I won't be seeing much of the output. I think we'll be able to take best use of what is called as console. Here we can see the output, what is happening. So in JavaScript, in terms of variables creation, so we have three syntaxes. Yeah, the three syntaxes, as in, okay, we have var syntax, we have let syntax, we have const. Three syntaxes are available today to write. Out of this, let and const are newly introduced. Var is a very old syntax. Now let us understand why they introduced and what is the difference between let and const. Okay, so how do I create a variable? Let, okay, and now name, yeah, is equals to React. How do I create a variable using const? Const, yeah, age is, okay, const, let's say, email, yeah, let's create an email like this. I'm creating two variables. One is using let and one is using const. Yeah. What did they first came across like introducing additional two syntax over var. Let's say if I have to use var, how do I create? I have to create using var, yeah, var, uh, let's say age is 30. Now, do we see any syntax difference? Actually, no. Yeah, just that, you know, I have different variable names. In terms of the syntax, except the keyword, we don't see any change. Yeah, but the change comes in terms of what is called as, hoisting. Okay, voice change in terms of hoisting, which means where can be logged, okay, where can be accessed even before its declaration. Yeah, I can access the value of age. Yeah, though age is defined in line number 17, but I can access it even in line number 14. Yes, I'm getting the value undefined. Yeah, but even then I'm able to access it. But that is not possible. Let's say I want to access name and email. Okay, it is not possible to access. Okay, so this should ideally, yeah, will be an error actually. Why? Because let and const are not hoisted by default. Yeah, not something that we can easily connect and so what is hoisting and all that. But let me tell you another difference of where actually versus let and const. See, let's say I want to redeclare a variable. Okay, now I'll say 40 as an NI type. Yeah, so it gets updated. So basically, this declaration is allowed without any error, which is a old way of defining syntax. But with let, okay, with let, it will throw me an error saying it's a duplicate declaration. Yeah, it's a duplicate declaration. Yeah, and even the same case with const. Yeah, I cannot redefine any variable. I cannot even redefine, let's say, a const. I would say test now. Says duplicate declaration, age, duplicate declaration. You will see email. Yeah, so it's showing an error. You see, error, syntax error, type error. Yeah, okay. I think this syntax not recognizing. Yeah, sometimes this takes some time to update. Yeah, don't get confused. But in terms of the problem, yes, declaration has already been done, not allowed. Email, it doesn't allow to redeclare. See, redeclaring a block scoped variable. But where was supporting it, which is not a good thing. Yeah, which was not a good thing. So now with now like like this, there are a lot of limitations which actually came with where. So these were addressed. Yeah, these issues were addressed using let and const. For example, if I talk about another issue which was there with where, yeah, which is actually, ignored or not considered as error. For example, we had a syntax where I can define a variable, yeah, I can define a variable uh, without giving any, without giving any keyword, without giving any keyword. Let's say a is equal to 10. Yeah, but then this was not considered an error in the older version of JavaScript. But here you see that a is not defined. Yeah, so we are in the newer version. It is considered. Yeah, it is not allowing the syntax. Fine. Okay. Another example. Okay. Another example between let and const. So let's say I have, well, have a function. Okay. I have a function called test, and I'm trying to define a variable. Yeah. A variable which is which I'm defining it within a block. Yeah. For example, for, okay, where is equal to, where I is equal to 0. Okay. I less than 5, I plus plus. Now, what is this in JavaScript? It's a for loop. But what is important to understand? It's actually a block, which is called for block. In the for block, I have defined this variable called I. Now, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to access this value after this for loop is done. I'm not interested now to do anything in the for, but let me try to access the value of I. What do I get? It's a value. If I try to access it after the for loop, yeah, tell me in the chat what is the value of var if I just try to access it after the for loop is done. Yeah, will I be able to access it? Yes, yeah, okay, uh, fine, yeah. Thing is, yeah, we can actually access it, you know, since it is a var okay, I will be having the value, I'll be having the value which is fine. What's the value? I'll be getting the value fine. So why it did not print? I have to call the function. Okay, that function did not execute. That's why we didn't see the value. You see, it got printed 5. Yeah, it prints 5 because of var. Now let's say in this case, yeah, okay, I'll talk about having let, and I'm trying to access the same variable just after the for loop. I, it says is not defined. For let, it says it is not defined. For var, it says, yeah, you can access it even after the for loop. No issues. And same case for const also. Const you define, I cannot access outside. Yeah, okay. Now this is one of the major difference. Yeah. So you see, var is not supporting block scope. So what is a block scope? What is so important about block scope? See, I wanted to loop using for. I've created one variable, and that purpose was to store index value in the each iteration of this loop. Once the task is done, you have to return all the resource, right? You have to clear the memory which is allocated for all the unused variables. Yeah, all the unused variables which are was created, they should be removed. But in case of var, it doesn't happen. Why? Because var, which is an older syntax, was not supporting block scope. Okay, so that block scope, yeah, support was not there in var. That feature they introduced in using let and const. So what is block scope? Yes, so you write things within any block. It could be an if block, for block, any two, curly brackets. You do things. This is called block in JavaScript. Okay, so like this, there are many things which they found, where is not best suited. That is why they introduced two new syntax, let and const. Yeah. So recommended way is to use, start with const. If not possible to make it const, then use let and not to use var. In modern code today, wherever you see, you will use, these two than var. Okay. This is completely avoided. You should not be writing it unless you cannot get it done using let and const. Not saying it is not supported. It is supported, but not recommended to write your code using var. Right? Yeah. So that is what actually let and uh, what is the difference with var. But then what is const? Yeah. Const is also a variable declaration, but it is like a constant. You cannot change its value. For example, let's say in the next line, I would like to highlight or change the value. Okay, I have to fix the email. Can I modify it? No, you cannot modify. Why? Email is read only. Yeah, you are trying to modify the value of email, but then it is defined as a constant. You cannot change it. Yeah, this is the only difference between const and a let variable. Right? Okay. So this is what is let const and the block scope and one of the important feature in ASX, the let. Yeah, we'll be writing a lot of code with const and let. This syntax also becomes more familiar to you. Next, functions. So once we have learned, okay, so variables, yeah, we'll move on to functions. So in JavaScript, there are three different syntax, to write functions. After that, they introduced, there were two syntax which were there. One is called function declaration syntax. What is it called? Function declaration syntax. This syntax is called function declaration syntax. Yeah. So let's say function A. Yeah. Let's consider function A. Yeah. Because it's already defined, so it is throwing an error. Now let's write the same function A using a function declaration expression syntax. What is the syntax name? Function expression. Yeah. Since it is already defined, let me call it function B. Okay. I don't want to pollute my console, so let's see this. Function B. This is called expression syntax. Yeah, it looks like an expression. Yeah, where left hand side, yeah, is equal to right hand side. Here, this is declaration, the normal function declaration syntax. Yeah, with having these two syntax, okay, JavaScript introduced another simple syntax. Okay, it's called arrow function. So we write the same, almost same as this declaration syntax. So we won't be writing the line, we won't be writing the keyword function. Yeah, we won't be writing the keyword called function. Instead, yeah, between this parenthesis and the curly bracket, we introduce an arrow, right? That's how the syntax is. So we can take this syntax, yeah, remove this keyword, just, okay, introduce an arrow between these two. Okay, this this particular syntax, yeah, is actually called arrow function. Okay, so all three functions are still valid. You can use all three of them. Yeah, so it's not distinguished like this is old and this is new. Yes, newly added is arrow function syntax. But what's the benefit of having arrow function? Yes, so there is, I think, few differences, not a lot, few differences when it comes to arrow and a normal function. Maybe in the interest of time, I would not be going through all of that. But one benefit of having arrow function is it is not simple and concise to write. Yeah. So let's say I have to write a function to, you know, square it. Let's say I write a function called const square. Yeah. What is it? Square. I have to say, okay, so you pass a number, I'll write num star num. function to square the number. Yeah, let me do a console log of square and then 5. Now let's say if I want to write the same using function declaration or expression syntax, I have to say function square. Okay, that I will write the full name. Then I have to accept this number. Yeah, then I should say return num star num. This is the old equivalent or the function declaration syntax for the same square function. You can see we're able to write this. Okay, yeah, that's lots more simple syntax. Yeah, there are differences actually. Differences if I have to compare a normal function versus this. So arrow function does not support its own this value. Arrow functions cannot be used as a constructor. Yeah, and again, arrow function, is not something like hoisted, just like variables. You cannot access it. No. So we are concerned about the syntaxes and what is introduced. Yeah, won't be able to go in detail. Yeah, but if required, I can actually answer if you have any questions. But this is a lot simple syntax. And in JavaScript, we write lot of callback functions, right? We write callback functions. So when we write those callback functions, okay, let me take an example of, I would like to, okay, I would like to do square of so many numbers. You can simply call map method. Yeah, it can simply call a map method. And I want to write num, okay, and I want to square it num using num star num, and I get the result here, right? I get the result. Now the result is not happens to be a simple value. It is an array. Okay, let me log the result. Console log result. See, you get 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. The function here, the one which was actually doing the square, num star num. This is called callback function. Yeah, this is called as callback function. And this function, yeah, most of the time we may not have too much of logic. We might have some logic, but with arrow function, you see, it looks a lot simple. But let's say I have to put this using function declaration syntax. Yeah, then I would be writing except the square. I would be writing all of this again inside this function. Yeah. So basically writing an extra arrow, writing explicit return keyword. Yeah. Makes it difficult to understand. Yeah. See the earlier syntax? We had this. Okay. Let me just put this one sign again so that you can compare which it looks easy. Yeah. Which one looks easy? Just see it to read and understand what is going on. We'll say result 2. That is result. See the difference? Yeah. Yes. So maybe if you're familiar with language like Java, this is also called as Lambda function. In Java 8, they've introduced this feature called Lambda function, which is almost the same thing what we say in JavaScript. All right. So yeah. So these are again variables and functions. Let me take if there are any questions so far, and then we'll see into the other topics. Okay. Yeah. Let me just allow you to talk. Good morning, Aman. How are you doing?
Hi, sir. I'm doing good.
Yeah, yeah, nice. Uh, if you have any questions so far,
No, not yet.
okay, and the reason for enrolling into this course, any specific reason why you are learning React now? How is it going to help you?
Actually, I am a front-end developer and want to learn React more. I do have knowledge of React, just basic knowledge of React.
Sure, sure. Okay, you're already using React. Interesting. Yes. So anything else you would like to highlight?
No, sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep, thank you. Then we move on to Fashish. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Fashish. How are you doing
Yeah,
today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm too. Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing. So far, so good. I have no questions on this, but yeah, the reason for me to join this course, I'm purely a backend engineer.
Hmm.
I'm just trying to get into a full stack world.
Hmm.
So and considering the popularity of this,
Hmm.
React, I thought let's just try to get some hold on it.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
Yeah,
it.
welcome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, Manoranjan.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you
Yeah,
doing
actually,
today?
uh,
Hmm.
our organization actually referring to TypeScript
Hmm.
and the
Hmm. Hmm.
TypeScript controls also,
Hmm.
TSX.
Yeah, yeah.
So, can I learn here also, or only you are referring to JavaScript?
See, we have a wide variety of audience. Okay. Um, I know maybe it is required for you, but what I would say, see, moving from JavaScript to TypeScript is not that big deal. You should be familiar with TypeScript, and then, so let's say now I defined let some variable. Are you familiar with TypeScript already now?
Yeah,
Okay. So,
yeah, TypeScript is
so
speaking. Yeah,
yeah. So when you are familiar with TypeScript, the fundamentals of React is not going to change, right? So I think mostly we'll be sticking to JavaScript version only because so that everyone understands. Yeah, I know it is now many organization, as I mentioned yesterday. Yeah, it is possible to write both using TypeScript and JavaScript. Yeah, it is again how they're switching based on the team capability or strength, you know, and how comfortable they are using with TypeScript. Yeah, so I have stories to tell you, like okay, TypeScript and you know JavaScript, or which what is the benefit and what happens. Yeah, but to answer your question, yes, we'll go with JavaScript to start.
okay.
Yeah.
So if we set up in our local
Mm.
machine, so we need to install npm and then Visual Studio Code, right?
Yes. Yeah. Uh,
Then if possible, the TypeScript will be needed, right?
TypeScript is just while creating a project. You mentioned template as TypeScript. Maybe I can show it to you. Yeah. If you have some question, maybe I can help you with this TypeScript separately. Yeah. So there is a separate template. So you do a create React app that we'll be discussing. So there we have something called template as TypeScript. So then you get a TypeScript project. Yeah. Here itself you saw in Code Sandbox, we have a TypeScript template to start with.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. That's how you get started with TypeScript if you are interested to try it on your own.
Yeah.
All right. Any other question, Manoranjan?
No, it's fine.
Yep. Thank you. Uh, good morning, Ram. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning. I'm good.
Yeah. So any questions so far, Ram?
Nothing as of now.
Okay, so may know the need for learning React.
Yeah, I'm purely like a backend engineer with
Mhm,
like kind of ML ops and stuff. So I'm just learning front end to just in case.
All right, all right. Okay, okay. Welcome, Ron. Thank you. All right. Uh, Now we understood kind of declaration and the basic syntax to get started with. Yeah, right. So now let's learn some more concepts into the ES6. Yeah, one feature is actually called destructuring. Okay. Mm. So what is destructuring? Why do I need a destructuring? Okay. So in terms of destructuring, yeah. So it is saying in JavaScript, yeah, we have primitive types. Yeah, we have a primitive types, set of primitive types. So I'm sure most of you know what are primitives. And then we have object types. Which are the object types? Yeah. So we have array and what is called object. These two are called object types, also called as reference types. Yeah. There are only two things. These two are actually called the structure. Yeah. When it comes to an array, I have sequence of numbers. I can store any type of number or any type of value within an array. Yeah, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, you store it. Right? Or, okay, I can have an object. For example, const employee. You say, yeah, the employee has an ID. Okay, 101. Employee has a name. Okay, XYZ. Or let's say AAA. And age. Yeah, some number. Now, I would say apart from primitive, these are actually called structures. Now, it is possible to destructure them. So from an array, we can extract it. From object, we can extract it. We can put them back to primitives actually. We can destructure them into primitives or we can put it to some other structure from one to other, that is actually feature called destructuring. Okay, let us see an example just to get more familiar with what exactly it does, how it does. Yeah. So JavaScript, we have primitives, we have and object types are reference type. One is array and is object. And it is a lot simple. Unlike, maybe since most of you are from background, backend. So we don't have too many types as in like list, hash map, linked list. No, array list. Very simple, two types. Now in terms of destructuring it, yeah. So let's say I want to destructure an array. Since the right side is an array, I have to use the array square brackets for destructuring. Yeah, based on the variable type. Yeah, now it happens to be an array, so I have to write this curly, square bracket. Now let's say if it is an object, employee, then I have to write emp. Emp, from here I want to destructure it, but since it is an object, I have to write a curly bracket. This is in terms of the syntax. Now what we are going to write here, let me see it. So here in case, like I would like to extract first number, and I would like to extract second into its own variable. What is it? Into its own variable, right? Yeah. So I can do so by first comma second. Now what happened in this line? In this line I extracted. Okay, sorry, I have a spelling mistake. So I extracted uh, first, second into separate variable, which is 1 and 2. Now you see, I have only one. Okay, I have only one. If I want, I can just take only one out of this. Yeah, I want second. So it's basically naming those values. Okay, what we used to do before, having the syntax, we used to do something like, okay, we used to access numbers of 0. Yeah, let's say I want first, then I'll say const first, numbers of 0. I used to access with the respective index. Let's say I want second, then const second, numbers of 0. Now it is maybe second value, which is at index 1. So 1. Yeah. So let's say if I want to extract some more values, then it used to be a, so what if I want rest of this first and second index, I want it to be an array. I want to put these things rest into an array. Yeah. Okay. Const remaining is equal to numbers. Okay. Dot slice. Okay. I should say 2. Yeah. I'm just telling you the use case. But today with destructuring, all of these 3 lines can be put in one single line. Yeah. All of these 3 can be put in one single line because of destructuring. Assume what if, number 0 doesn't exist and I want to give some default value. Then it becomes even clumsy, like, okay, number 0 or number, I want it to be 0 in that case as well. So if say number does not exist, then I want to initialize empty array. Yeah. So, but this syntax is further improved and minimized using restructuring. Let us see how we can do the same thing here. Okay. So we can give an initial value if, if array happens to be empty. I'm not able to have get destructure first and second value. Then I just want to extract into remaining the rest of the array. Then I can say dot, dot, dot. Okay. Which is the next concept that we are studying. Yeah. So now these 3 line syntax is exactly equivalent of this particular line. Yeah, it is doing exactly what the above 3 lines are doing in one single line using restructuring. Yeah, so it's simple and
What
concise.
one question.
Yeah,
So
sure.
what slice do in a, that also do in a 3 dot,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, it is doing. Okay, let's see what is happening if I try to print the value of, yeah, okay, let's see, rem. You see, I'm getting remaining values 3, 4, 5. Yeah, yes, it is doing all the logic exact. Right? Yeah. So this is a simple syntax, and then this makes our life also easy to understand, very easy to maintain also. All right. And this is called array destructuring. How we destructure elements from an array into their individual variables. Yeah. Or even I can just group it into another one more array. Okay. Now, same way, let's see the object we have here. We have an object. Now, how do I destructure from an object? Okay. So here first, second is just sequential. One after the other, we were able to get the value. Yeah, one after the other, we were able to get the value. So there is another one more syntax. Maybe I'll just try to say, what if you want third? You don't want second, you want if you want third value. You want to skip one value. You can simply add a comma here. Okay, you add simply comma, then you get the third value. See, you got 3. Okay, moving on to the object destructuring. Yes, in my object, I have this property called ID, name, age. Okay, unlike array, I cannot access them just by their order. In array, as such, in object as such, there is no particular order. So here we have to literally go with their name, property name. I want to extract ID, I want to extract name. Yeah, you say ID comma name. The name might be already exist, saying same thing. Yeah, so it's saying redeclared. Okay, let me take out age. So basically what is happening, I'm creating two new variables called ID and age. To that, I am assigning the value from employee object. So employee as ID, employee as age. Yeah, so object destructuring. This is called object destructuring, where if I try to print ID comma age, I would be getting both the values. What was there? ID was 101, age is 40. Yeah. And again in object destructuring, yeah. So if I have to compare with array, how it was done earlier without the destructuring, it looks almost the same thing. I have to access employee.id and then assign it to a variable. I get employee.age, I have to assign to a new variable, and that I have to do it in a new line itself. And let's say again ID does not exist. I want to give some value, which is which is which is happens to be another thing where I'll have to mention or and give a value. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say in an older syntax, it could have been ID is equals to emp dot ID. If it does not exist, then put some value 100. It is not there. Yeah. And I don't want it to be an taken as ID, simply ID. I want to make it employee ID. For each variable, we have to do like this. Assume you want to take out 4, 5. Yeah, 4, 5 properties you want to extract it out. Why? Just to make syntax simpler. Instead of writing, what if it becomes a nested object? These two syntax supports even nesting also. Which means what if employee object has another sub object called address, which has 3 more fields. Yeah, city, pin code, and then yeah, just telling you. This the extraction. Yeah, extraction will become complex. Will become complex here. But then with the use of destructuring, so let's say I want to extract from address. Okay, from address I want to destructure, but I'll be getting the complete address. But what if you're interested only in getting pin code? Can take pin code. Yes. So let me put some pin code here. We'll see how you want to get. Let me just put a pin code. Okay, 560010. Yeah, let's say 560010. Let me just try to log if I'm going to get that value. See, I could get it. But this syntax becomes a bit lengthy if I'm not using destructuring. And possible to give initial values, possible to rename it. For example, what if I don't want, I wanted this syntax, like where I want to rename it. I can simply say colon emp id, which means I'm trying to extract id property, but not as id, but I want it as a different variable name, employee id, like this variable. Now, why we are talking about this syntax? In React, we see a lot of destructuring. Yeah, we would like to code very concise and clean. So we avoid this many dots. We can give all the default values if things are not exist. Right? Yes. So this is actually called destructuring. Yeah, we can destructure an object. We can destructure from an array. All right. So let's move on. Let's move on to the next construct that we have in JavaScript, which is a rest and spread operator. Yeah. So rest and spread operator. Yeah. So this is a bit confusing operator. They did not use a different syntax for both. It is the same operator, which is 3 dots. The operator syntax is 3 dots. Okay. It acts both as rest as well as spread. But based on the context, yeah, based on the context, we use spread and rest. Okay. Yeah. So spread and rest. We just now saw array destructuring. Okay. We use these triple dots. Used triple dots. So now what is it? Here we collected remaining values. Yeah, whatever was there in first, second, third were ignored, and remaining, 4 and 5, 4 and 5 happens to be in the rest. Those are the rest of the values which are left out. Correct? So let me just log rem. You see, it has 4 and 5. Yeah, you see a value called 4 and 5. So, and it has happens to be an array. And how do we generally take it? Yes, dot, dot, dot. Now let's say from an array, I don't want them to be an array. I want to spread them. I want to spread them. So spread meaning into separate values. See what happens now. Here, I was getting an array 4, 5, but now with the spread, I'm spreading them into separate values, a comma separated values. Do you see the difference? There I was collecting. In case of rest is place where we try to collect the values. Spread is where we want to spread it into separate values. Again, the use case of spread would be, let's say, what if I want to concatenate 2 arrays? Or what if I want to make a new array? Cloning it, yeah? Cloning that array. Yeah, it does shallow copy. Yes. So what if I want to just clone the array? Yeah? Or what if I want to concatenate, yeah, another array. So assume like I have another array. Yeah, I have another array, and that I have few elements. Few elements as in like, 0, 1, 2, and 3. I want to concat them into one single array. See, I got a one single array, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this syntax is spread. Okay, this syntax is spread. Now this is what I was saying. We use the same operator, spread and rest. Okay, based on the usage, we understand. Okay, what is what. Okay, just a second. No, okay, I think I'm good. Okay, so I would save this. Now, one advantage of having an online code editor like this is I can share all these examples with you, whatever we just practiced. And this is available as a permanent link. You can come back after any time. Okay, you can come back after any time and you can access this link. So I'm sharing in the chat all the code examples that I actually typed today. Right? All the code example. These are the so So we have covered rest and spread operator, destructuring, arrow functions, variables. Yeah, I think we'll see what is template literal and modules, yeah, in the next session. Okay, so any questions to me now? Any questions so far? All right, yeah. So I think we'll end the session here for today. See you all. Yeah. Thanks so much for your time. Yeah. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Aman.
Thanks.